Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. It's Miscellaneous Gab, and today we have green for Slytherin, which is what I am. What are you? Go ahead and drop your house sorting into the comments, and if you couldn't tell by now, we're back with another Harry Potter ranking. So a few weeks ago, I did my ranking for Harry Potter movies ranked from worst to best. Now I'm going to talk books. The books, this is where I thrive. I've been reading the Harry Potter books since I was 9 years old, and I literally listen to them every night to fall asleep most of the time. Like it's bad. Like I probably have a problem, but I do. I feel very qualified to give this ranking. As with any rankings, these are all super subjective takes. So if you feel differently, please go ahead and pop your rankings down below in the comments and maybe tell me why you chose what you did. So we're going to start with the worst, make our way to the best. The very worst book, in my opinion, and when I say worst, I don't mean it's horrible, but just, I guess, my least favorite. Least favorite is probably a good way of saying it, because I don't think any of them are truly bad. My least favorite book is Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, which is interesting because if you recall, it's pretty much my favorite movie. Here's my take. I think it's a weaker rehash of the Sorcerer's Stone. There's something bad and mysterious going on at Hogwarts. Its mystery is interesting, but it's basically like Harry discovers something at Hogwarts. Tonally, I feel like it's a little stuck between more of like the introduction of the world. There's still so much rehashing of the introduction of the world and the darker lore. I did hear that J.K. Rowling wanted to actually talk about Horcruxes as early on as in book 2 because she knew about Horcruxes from the beginning. That wasn't something that evolved later like the Deathly Hallows. Knowing that information, it almost doesn't feel complete. I also think the pacing just drags on a bit. Like the characters don't evolve as much. It does feel more like a transitional book rather than a standout. I actually think this is one of the few books that the movie did better, whether it was the mystery, the music, the water on the floor, the spiders, the Aragog scene, actual sound of the basilisk in Harry's head. I just feel like there was so much sensory storytelling that I don't actually feel like the book could have captured, even if it was written or structured differently. Next up, and I feel kind of bad saying this, number 2, my second least favorite, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, the 7th ultimate book. Now, I wrote in my notes, like in parentheses, depressing, and I think that's the vast majority as to why I reach for this book less and less. It's a lot to read. It's sad. It's depressing. It's a lot. Tone is so dark. It feels so final. There's very few chapters that I find myself really enjoying, and there's a lot of chapters that just downright disturb me every single time I listen to them, like Hermione at the Malfoy Manor, like Dobby's death, never mind the Battle of Hogwarts. The list goes on and on. It feels like a relentless punch in the gut. It's effective storytelling, but it hurts. The trio also does spend a lot of time wandering in the woods trying to figure things out, and I know that's there to help the frustration build and certain plot points revolve around it. Also, I felt like it actually felt too much. I remember the very first time I read it I was a teenager. I remember feeling really blindsided by the actual concept of the Deathly Hallows. I also felt really blindsided by the fact that Harry was a Horcrux. It didn't even really do anything for me, which is crazy because I've heard other people talk about how that was one of their biggest mic drop, WTF, world altering moments. To me, it honestly felt like there was a lot that was just kind of added in at the end. Ron speaking Parseltongue. Okay, so for number 3 and 4, I guess we're in middle territory now. We're in low to middle territory are actually ties. These two are tied. So I'll go with the one that is kind of my least favorite from something that's still a tie, and that's Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. It is a nostalgic classic, but it's simple by design. So if you're rereading, if you're in the Harry Potter world, so much of this is set up and it's so wonderful for reacquainting yourself with the Harry Potter world, but it's kind of over as soon as it begins. It's unmatched magical world building and it feels comfy when I go back. My second part of this tie is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. That's book 3. I think Azkaban is a beloved book. It was actually the first Harry Potter book that I read. My parents wouldn't let me read 1 and 2 when they came out. I was just too young, so I had to wait a little bit. So the third book was actually the first book I read because I saw saw movie 1 and 2 before I read the books. It introduces major lore, the Marauders, Sirius. The payoff doesn't necessarily hit as hard as I think some of the payoff and twists of the other books that are in my top 3, which you already know which ones they are. It's a clever plot twist. Obviously, you have the Time Turner, you have Sirius actually being a good guy and Peter Pettigrew being a bad guy. You have the reveal that Ron's rat is Peter Pettigrew.
You telling me a fucking rat? Not even just any rat. Scammer! My boy Ron had your little scrawny, hairless ass in his pocket all these fucking years. I thought it was my boy Sirius Black. I thought it was maybe even Snape. A fucking rat!
So I do think that this is one of those first books in the series where the plot twists are plot twisting. They're twisting. They really are. Okay, now we're in top 3 territory. So my 3rd place is Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Now these are really hard. This is almost tied for 2nd. I think this is one of the best blends of mystery and excitement. We also see the world expand. We have Mad-Eye Moody, which is one of the most interesting characters. I actually think the plot twist in book 4 is one of the best plot twists. This and the Half-Blood Prince twist are actually the strongest twists, and my jaw was on the floor. Moody, Barty Crouch Jr., so good. The Triwizard Tournament structure gives it such an interesting feel. The ending, of course, is Voldemort's return. That marks such an incredibly important turning point in the whole journey. We also have our first heartbreaking death, Cedric Diggory. So far, we haven't had a character die. And this was really sad, but it was still one of the least sad deaths compared to the other deaths, if you know what I mean. This is also when we started getting into way longer books. I think the longer books are a more enjoyable read because you have more time in the middle to just get lost in the world and the magic. Goblet of Fire is a 3rd place ranking, 3rd and 2nd, kind of depending on my mood and depending on the kind of time of year. Right now, I'm re-listening to Goblet of Fire, so that's why I feel like I want to put this in 2nd. My 2nd place / 3rd place is a little bit of a controversial one, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. I've seen some people say that this is actually their least favorite book. I think this is even J.K. Rowling's least favorite book. It's the longest by far. She felt it dragged on. And as I was a kid, honestly, this is pure nostalgia for me because when I was 10, I was really depressed. I didn't have any friends. I only had Harry Potter and I only had specifically this book on tape. I would listen to it all summer, like coloring and alone eating Golden Grahams. It's a very core memory for me. Even though the characters in the book were much older than me, I had some family things going on at the time and I felt like I had a lot of the same angst and anger and confusion and hurt. While a lot of the other books are about the world, this is about the characters. This is about the people. I feel like even though it doesn't always earn the length, like there are parts that really drag on a lot, it really shows Harry's trauma and what he went through. It doesn't shrug off Cedric's death at all. It has one of the most heartbreaking losses. Sirius, it's just kind of like, man, this kid, Harry, he can't catch a freaking break. Umbridge, Dolores Umbridge, I think is one of the best written villains in the entire series. I love to hate her. I love to hate Umbridge. All right, to nobody's surprise, my favorite book, drumroll please, is Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. That's book 6. Guys, this was the craziest plot twist. The fact that Snape was the Half-Blood Prince, I remember just staring at the wall for a long time after I finished this book. Dumbledore's death, this was huge. It balances the perfect tone of mystery and heartbreak. It's also my least favorite movie. So I have a whole other video talking about why I hate this movie so much. If you want to deep dive, go there. The slow unraveling into Voldemort gives us so much richness to the world. Never, I think, in almost any other book series or movie series do we go to such lengths to understand our enemy. We have to understand the enemy to defeat him. Dumbledore and Harry's lessons are so interesting. I almost wish we had more of Voldemort's memories. I love how they went from before he was born to his childhood, to his teenagehood, to his young adulthood. Dumbledore's death and the ending, I think, perfectly set up the finale. I think it's the most mature, the most cohesive, the most well-written. It has the best balance, right? This is where things get really, really dark. Harry's obsession with Draco, Sectum Sempra, learning about Voldemort, the idea that we finally learn what Horcruxes are, and not only that, but this freaking man Voldemort has made 7. Dumbledore's death, the cave scene, terrifying. That is balanced so well with some of the moments of levity and fun, the love, the snogging, Felix Felice, Malesis, Slughorn, kind of the silliness. Half-Blood Prince has its rightful place at the top. I also love how the first 2 chapters are actually completely different from where Harry is. We don't normally get this. So we get one chapter in book 4 where we see Frank meeting up with Voldemort and Wormtail. There's a little section of a chapter in the Sorcerer's Stone. It's Harry's first Quidditch game, and we see Harry's perspective, but we're also going in between like Hagrid and Hermione and Ron in the stands. So we don't get a whole lot of chapters that are outside of Harry's perspective, but the other minister, what a fire way. What a great cold open. Spinner's End, where we see Bellatrix and Narcissa, Malfoy and Snape, and like really being like, Snape, this fucking guy, he's bad. He's a bad guy. Dumbledore trusts him. Dumbledore, what's wrong with you? Anyway, I could go on why this is the best book and the worst movie, guys. Go watch my video. It's the worst movie. What I want to know is, what is your list? Do you agree with my take? Do you disagree? Pop your rankings in the comments below, and I will see you next time with some more rankings. Big shout out to my Waffle Party VIP members. Thank you so much for supporting my channel on Patreon. Thank you to my other Patreon supporters. If you're interested in joining my Patreon, please click the link in the bio of this video, and I will see you next time. Bye.